Rakesh sold two identical DBZ action figures. I hope you guys like DBZ, Dragon Ball Z. Okay, if not, not an issue. Anyway, so at the same price of rupees 480 INR each, okay, he sold one of them making a profit of 20% and the other incurring a loss of 20% on the respective cost prices. Find the value of the overall profit or loss incurred. Okay, overall value of the profit or loss incurred पूछा है, means rupees में. Okay, अपना आंसर आना चाहिए in rupees. Okay, value आना चाहिए, not percentage. Okay. So let's understand what is going on here. Now, before solving anything, before thinking even for a second, people directly jump on their benches and tell me, sir, इसका answer zero होगा, no profit, no loss. Okay, why? एक पे 20% कमाया, दूसरे 20% घटाया, एक ही बात हो गया, right? But that's not correct. Let's understand why. Okay, so here, अगर suppose ऐसा होता, okay, Rakesh is buying two identical Dragon Ball Z action figures. If we would have been buying, okay, two action figures at the same cost, ओके एक पे 100 रुपीज का कॉस्ट था, दूसरे पे 100 रुपीज का भी कॉस्ट था. ऑन दिस बेसिकली 20% प्रॉफिट इज मेड, ऑन दिस 20% लॉस इज मेड, राइट? So what is the overall transaction value for him? Okay, so for him now in this case when he's buying something at 100 rupees, okay, दूसरा वाला भी is buying at 100 rupees, okay, पहले वाले पे cost पे is getting 20% profit, दूसरे वाले पे he's getting 20% का loss. Okay, अगर वो cost price सेम रखेगा तो दोनों का, ओके, देन एक पे 20% कमाएगा, 20% ऑफ 100 इज 20 रुपीज, दूसरे पे 20% कब आएगा, -20. So 20 minus 20, the overall transaction is no profit or no loss. Okay, so whenever the cost price is the same, okay, in a particular transaction, whenever the cost price is same, okay, and एक transaction में a% profit है, दूसरे पे a% loss है, then the overall transaction is always no profit, no loss. Okay, it's break even, जिसको कहते हैं हम लोग. ओके, सो इट इज अ ब्रेक इवन वाला कंडीशन हियर, बिकॉज जितना x% उस पे अर्न किया उतना दूसरे वाले पे लूज कर दिया. सो ओवरऑल ट्रांजैक्शन काइंड्स ऑफ इवन्स आउट. ओके, नाउ दिस इज नॉट द कंडीशन हियर इन दिस केस गाइस, रिमेंबर. Okay, in this case the cost prices of the action figures are not same. Okay, he sold the two identical DBZ action figures at the same price, 480 INR each. Okay, so selling price इस केस में सेम है दोनों के लिए, तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे, you have to take it separately. Okay, सो सेलिंग प्राइस अगर सेम है, ओके, पहले वाले पे 480 में सेल किया, दूसरे वाले को भी 480 में सेल किया, राइट? ओके, बट अंडरस्टैंड ऑन द फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन, ओके, 480 रुपीज में बेच के 20% का प्रॉफिट हुआ है, राइट? दैट मींस पहले वाले का कॉस्ट जो है वो 480 से कम रहा होगा, इजंट इट? वेयर एज सेकंड केस में 20% लॉस पे सेल किया गया है, इजंट इट? Okay, so in the second case the cost price is more than 480. Okay, are you understanding this? Since the cost price is not the same for both of them, we cannot say that there's going to be profit or loss in this case right now. Okay, but एक बात तो तय है कि on the first value the cost price is less than 480, makes sense because 20% add होके 480 हुआ है, and दूसरे वाले को 20% से कम करके 480 किया गया है, right? Are you understanding this? Okay, so let's calculate their cost prices initially. Okay, we know that total selling price is how much, 480 plus 480, 960 rupees. Okay, now on the first transaction 20% का profit हुआ है, right? So किसी quantity को 1.2 से multiply किया गया है and you got 480. So to get back that quantity, what do? We divide by 1.2. So to divide by 1.2, the cost price basically comes out to be 400. And makes sense, right? 400 को आप 20% से increase करो, 20% of 400 is 80 rupees. 400 plus 80 is 480, your selling price, right? Similarly, in the exact same fashion now, we'll find out the cost price for the second action figure. Okay, now on this, there has been a loss of 20%. Okay, and for that, loss means basically 20% से कम हुआ है value, right? That means you have multiplied something by 0.8, as we saw in the previous classes. So to get back the cost price, we divide this by 0.8. Okay, if at all you want to eliminate confusions here, okay, you can always use ratios, guys, in this question. Okay, हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं in this case, suppose you assume the cost price to be equal to 100. Since there is a loss of 20 rupees, the selling price is how much? 80. So 80 corresponds to 480, then 100 corresponds to what you can cross multiply. Okay, if at all you have confusion, but ultimately you will again land up with the same thing. You will again land up with 0.8. 480 divided by 0.8. That is nothing but 600 rupees. Right? And if you observe, 600 का 20% कितना, 120 हुआ. So 600 minus 120 is 480 of selling price. There's clearly a loss. Okay. So the total cost price is how much now, guys? 1,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees, isn't it? Okay, 1,000 rupees cost hai, 960 rupees ka selling price hai. There is clearly a loss, right? And loss value is how much? 40 rupees. Okay, so the answer for this question is the overall value, okay, that you wanted to find. Okay, that value is basically a loss, and the loss is how much? 40 rupees. Okay, now from this we can have a takeaway, guys. Okay, whenever the selling price of two quantities is same and there is a% profit on the first transaction and a% loss on the second transaction, the overall transaction is always a loss. Okay, with loss percentage is equal to a square divided by 100%. Okay, as simple as that. So you can observe it here. Okay, एक transaction में 20% profit हुआ है, एक पे 20% loss हुआ है. The overall transaction is clearly a loss, and the loss percentage is how much? 20 square upon 100 the whole square. Sorry, 20 square upon 100 percentage. My bad. Okay, so 20 square is 400 upon 100 is basically 4%. Okay, as you can observe carefully. Okay, there is 4% loss here, right? In this case, 1,000 ka 4% is 40 rupees. That's the loss value. Now, how do we use this knowledge to solve the question very, very, very quickly? Okay, we know that there's going to be a loss of 4%. So how do we solve this question very, very easily? So now we reattempt this question, assuming and understanding this logic. And for that, let's revisit the question. Okay, two identical action figures at the same price, okay, of 480 each. Okay, so total selling price kitna hua? 480 into 2, which is 960 rupees. Now we calculated that there's going to be 4% loss, right? So if I assume the cost price to be, let's say 100, okay, there is 4% loss, right? The loss value kitna ho gaya? 4 rupees. And the selling price became how much? Selling price is 100 minus 4, 96, right? So 96 in this value corresponds to rupees 960 in the question. So अपना जो loss है 4 rupees, this corresponds to what? If you observe, ये 10 times हुआ है, this loss is 40 rupees. See, knowing the concepts and building upon them slightly, and then again knowing these shortcuts जो भी हमने सीखा है a square by 100%. See, this really helps you out, right? Okay, this is how we are supposed to prepare ourselves for the exam. हम लोग कुछ भी अगर सीखते हैं, कोई क्वेश्चन अगर सॉल्व करते हैं, we must always understand it, of course, but we must always try to take it a step further, ताकि उस पे बेस अगर कुछ एग्जाम में आ सके, we can directly apply something and solve the question. Is that clear? So I hope you have understood this. We go on to the next part now. Okay, if the ratio of cost price and mark price of an article is 4:5 and the ratio of percentage profit and percentage discount is 5:3, what is the discount percentage? Okay, very standard question. Okay, now guys, always remember this. Okay, when we saw the triangle for the cost price, the mark price and the selling price, okay, what do we know? We know that cost price में जब हमने discount add किया and mark price में जब हमने okay, triangle वाला part फिर से. All right, so let's understand the triangle वाला part here. We know that cost price में जब हमने profit add किया या फिर loss subtract किया और mark price में जब discount subtract किया, we'll get selling price, right? Same concept we are going to apply it over here. Using both the conditions, we are going to calculate the selling price and equate it, right? So the ratio of cost price and mark price of an article is 4:5. Okay, to make life simple, let's take this as 400 and 500. Okay, and the ratio of percentage profit and percentage discount is 5:3. So let's say percentage profit हो गया अपना 5x%, percentage discount अपना हो गया 3x%. Okay, all right. So what is the discount percent? Okay, profit percent वैसे यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. Okay, so you can calculate the selling price. The selling price is 5x% of 400. Okay, this is your profit plus the cost price. जो भी cost था अपना 400 rupees. This is your selling price derived from the cost. Okay, now guys, in the same way, okay, there is 3x% discount also, right? And the mark price is 500, we assume. Okay, so what is the discount value? The discount value is 3x% of 500. Okay, and now what is the selling price? The selling price is marked price minus this. Okay, when you equate them, that's the selling price. ये भी selling price ही है ना, right? So solving this, you can take 500 on the right, you can take 400 on the right hand side and minus 3x upon 100 times 500. पहले 100 काट दो यहाँ पे, यहाँ भी 100 काट दो. Okay, so you can take 400 on the right hand side, you'll get 100, and on the left hand side you'll get 5x into 4, 20x, plus 3x into 5, 15x, 35x. So you get x is equal to 100 by 35. But what is the question asks? What is the discount percent? The discount percent is nothing but 3x, right? So basically multiply it with 3. Okay. 520s are 5 sevens are 60 by 7. It's nothing but 8. 4 by 7. It's going to be option B. As simple as that. Just equate the two. Okay. Very standard approach. Okay. Wherever you see this question, okay, you can always use this approach. Just equate the selling prices. You're better off.